I'm a moron, but you already know that. I'll show you why. So as you can see by that particularly delightful boot that I'm wearing, it's actually for medical reasons, clearly. It's not a fashion statement. I've not gone all goth. It's not a goth sandal with a toe stick from the top. It's a boot that actually encases your leg or foot if you damage it to the point of breaking it or fracturing it. And that's exactly what I've done. I broke my foot. Stupidly. I'm waiting for Hazel here. She's coming in. Have you got anything to say, Hazel?
You bloody idiot.
There you go. I'm a bloody idiot. So...
But don't think it's getting you out of helping any other time.
Yeah, I'm not allowed out of work. There's no sympathy in this household.
No, it's not.
There's no sympathy, just contempt.
Not today, obviously, or for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Ever.
But when you walk, don't think it's getting you out of helping.
There you go. So I am still having to toe the party line, as it were. I'm still having to do... Well, she thinks I am. I'm not. So yeah, it started. It's a long story. Not really a long story. Some might find it funny. Some might say he deserves it. Some might feel sympathy or empathy. I don't think there'll be much sympathy or empathy. We'll see. So Sunday, we decided to have a clear out of items, and Hazel and myself we'd gone through the bedrooms and we'd gone through the rooms upstairs, and we made a collection of stuff. Some for charity, some for the dump. So Hazel went out with the dogs and the kids, and I said, while you're out, what I'll do is I'll bring the stuff downstairs and I'll put it up, the dump stuff up by the gate. And that'll save a job when you get back. And I did just that. I absolutely did that. But on the last load that I was bringing down, I was coming down with a child's cot, little wooden cot, and I was also coming down with, I think, an old case, if I remember rightly. Anyway, I got halfway down the stairs, and for some reason, it was quite comical. I toppled. Now, those out there who know me will know that I'm not the most stable of people when it comes to, well, mentally or physically. I do fall over quite a lot, or I have done over the years. I am accident prone, and I've been like that ever since I was a kid. Anyway, what happened was, well, I'm not sure what happened. All I know is I was going down the stairs, something happened, can't tell you what it was. I realised I was going to fall, realised I was going, and what I did is the items that were in my hand, I threw down to the bottom of the stairs. And then I thought, I just waited for it. I went with it. But somehow I pirouetted on this mid-step, and I came down the stairs backwards. Now, at the bottom of the stairs, luckily, there was an old hard plastic crate that we'd left there. We were using it. I can't remember what we were using it for. But it was at the bottom of the stairs, and it was waiting to be taken back upstairs to be put into the cupboard. And as I've come down, I remember thinking, bugger. That was it. That was the exact word I remember thinking, oh, bugger. And I've come down, and I've gone through the plastic crate. Now, lucky that the crate was there, because had the crate not have been there, I would have carried on going, and my head would have gone through the wall, or at least stopped at the wall. And that would have been, I don't know what would have happened, but it would have caused more damage. So I've gone through the crate. It was like something out of a Western movie. Gone through the crate. Bits of that are shattered and floated everywhere and just shot off in different directions. And my leg came down. It came down on the banister. So it caught on the banister rails, but the foot banged off of the newel post at the bottom. And as it banged off, clearly I'd injured it. So I do what anybody would do. I have a feel around, make sure there's no holes in me, make sure there's nothing broken. And then I sort of start to get up. And as I get up, I grab hold of the banister rail, pull myself up. And then I find that I can't put any weight through my foot because it's absolutely screaming agony. So I'm on my own. The kids and Hazel and the dogs are out for a walk, and I'm doing this on my own. So I get up and I eventually hobble into the lounge, and Hazel comes home and she says, do you want to go to the hospital? And I said, no, it's okay. I probably just sprained it, or I bruised it, or, sort of thing. Give it a couple of days. We're very big on giving things a couple of days in this house, particularly if it's medical. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how this pans out. If it gets worse, then we'll talk about that then. And I did that with the leg. I decided that what I would do is I would wait a couple of days and just rest it up, take some ibuprofen and take some cocodamol and try and ease the swelling and the pain that way. Well, this went on for 2 days, and the first night I tried to get to sleep and I couldn't. I was in absolute agony. I had the worst night's sleep that I've had for ages. And eventually I drifted off, but then I woke up again, and it was the pain that caused me to wake up. So I came downstairs, hobbled downstairs. You'd thought I'd learned my lesson by then, wouldn't you? You'd thought that I wouldn't have even attempted to go near a staircase after that. But I made my way down the stairs, made my way into the lounge, sat here, and this was my continuation for 2 days. Eventually, on the Wednesday, which was yesterday, Hazel said, look, you can't be doing this. I think you might have broken your foot. So I said, yeah, I think you might be right. I need to go to the hospital and get an x-ray. So we trundled off to the hospital. Very good. They were very good in the hospital. The NHS were absolutely fantastic. And I was in and out within, I don't know, maybe an hour, less than an hour. And that includes going through sort of 3 different departments. So I went to the hospital, saw, I think he was not an accident emergency nurse, he was a trauma nurse. And he had a look at my foot and he felt around it. He said I'd done the right thing by leaving it for a couple of days, because then he could rule out that it was soft tissue, because soft tissue starts to repair itself and feel less painful after a day or two. He said so he could rule that out. He thought that maybe it was a possibility of a break or a fracture, which apparently are the same thing. I didn't realise that. I thought there was 2 different terminologies for 2 different things. So sent me off to the x-ray unit. The radiologist who was in there, she said to me, oh yeah, I think I can see something on the bone, and I'll mark it, and then I will send the relevant information back to the nurse. So on the way back, the nurse said to us, look, just knock on the door. If the door's open, come straight in. If it's not, wait in the waiting room. So it was open. We went in, saw him, had a look at it. He said, yeah, you've broken it. So I thought, oh yeah, okay, nothing new. I knew that, that wasn't a big surprise. So he measured me up for a shoe, and he put the shoe on. He explained that what happened is that one of the ligaments that had gone to the toe had sort of stretched, but it had pulled the bone off as well. So that had fractured the bone, pulled the bone away. And over time, it would eventually go back, settle, and then the bone would it would rejoin the main bone. It would, the piece that was broken would go back. And I thought, okay, that's fine. So he measured me up for a boot, got me a boot, and that was it. I thought, that's great, I'm done. So then we got home yesterday, and there was a phone call, or there was a message for me from the hospital. Now, I know that the nurse had said that, we're going to have some bone specialists phone you and have a chat with you, make sure you're okay and how you're dealing with it, and just to ask you a few questions. So I said, that's fine, yeah. And I thought blimey, they were quick, because he said within 72 hours. I thought, blimey, they phoned me before I even got back from the hospital. How good's that for service? But it wasn't. It was the hospital again. And there was a doctor who'd looked at by the time I got home, the x-ray's been sent off to a surgeon. And he said that he wanted me to go in Tuesday to have a look and do some weight, what do they call them? Weight-bearing x-rays to see what reaction that would have on the bone. And if the bone split more, or it looked like it wouldn't heal up with the weight that was going through it, then, and I'm not the most lithe of people, as you can see, then what he would do, the options were that he'd put it in a cast, because that's what they do with that sort of thing, because the boot apparently it might not be good enough to hold it together. So put it in a cast or possible surgery. So I've got to go back on Tuesday and find out what the answer is. And that's it, really. So it's been kind of eventful but uneventful. And I've just sat here and I'm absolutely bored rigid because there's not a lot I can do. So I'm just phoning around and sorting a few bits out for the paranormal team, and booking events that we're going to be a haunted location. So that's good. But apart from that, no, it's been pretty boring. And I've been living on a diet of ibuprofen and cocodamol, but obviously only for a sort of 48-hour period because you know you're not allowed to, or you shouldn't be taking them beyond that because you know they cause damage, I believe. So yeah, it's fun, not. But what you gonna do? What you gonna do? But I will try and still get out there and do bits and bobs. I'm sure that I can. I'll just hobble along and do bits and bobs. But I've got to wait till Tuesday to see what the surgeon says and to see if he needs to either operate on it or do what he needs to do, put it in a plaster cast. Of course, I'm erring on the side of plaster cast because I think the only problem with the surgery is that it's the recuperation after it. And I'm not a very good patient. I like to be out, or like to know that I can get up at any point and just go out and do what I want to do. Hence make videos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's weird, but it's the weirdest thing. This boot is it's just really weird. Because as you know, as you walk, you put you're supposed to, and I do, you put your heel down first, and then you follow through with the rest of your foot until you get to your toes, and then obviously, so you've got that arcing movement of the foot. And the boot is designed like a banana shape at the bottom, so that it can, like a cradle, so that you can sort of make that step without actually hurting yourself or putting too much pressure through your foot. The only thing is that it's overdone. I think it's overdone. So it's great when you're walking, although you still feel a little bit unsure because you're not used to it, because you've got one good foot and one bad foot, and one foot in the boot, and it makes it awkward. But yeah, so when you get up, it kind of rocks. So it's like you're unsteady. And yesterday when we got home, it was fine. And then Hazel, I forget what Hazel was doing, but I decided to get up to, I can't remember what it was to do now, answer the door. Yeah. And the boot rocks, and I went over and I smashed my other foot. So the toe on my left foot now is hurting. And I said to Hazel, I'm just going to see what happens. And I'm going to have a word with the surgeon or whoever it is on Tuesday and see if maybe extra. I don't know. I just don't know. It's just a comedy of errors, really, and pretty typical of me. But yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, eh? So that's it, really. Hopefully I'll get a couple of videos out later on this week if I can. I have still got to go out and do bits. But yeah, and then that's it. So yeah, from me, I will speak to you soon. Take it easy, look after yourselves, take care, and don't do anything I wouldn't do, which doesn't leave you much, really. So see you soon.